Hello, and thank you for joining the KBCR YouTube channel. We appreciate you listening, and we hope that you are going to gain knowledge about finances, about credit, about money, and everything in between. We appreciate you joining us, and we hope that you will subscribe, like, and share with a friend. But please make sure you set your notifications so you don't forget the next time that we go live. Enjoy. Today, I would like to talk about the perspective of credit, money, entrepreneurship. I would like to talk a little bit about all of those things because of our journey in business, if you are a business owner, and for my own personal life of some of the things that I've learned and that I am learning about myself and about things that go on in my life regularly, or I won't say regularly, but things that go on in my life, period. So, as many of you know, I previously had my mom pass away in September of 2023, and I inherited her vehicle, which was the vehicle of my grandparents and my grandmother, whom is still alive at 99 years old, has an upcoming birthday in March. She'll be 100 this year, so amazing. And the thing is that I lend my mother's vehicle to my daughter. So it would have been four generations: my grandparents, my mom, me, and my daughter. So that was a benefit or a vehicle that four different generations, actually five generations, were able to utilize. And just with this thought right here, let's just stop for a moment and think about that. So one generation decided to make a purchase of something that will be beneficial, whether they knew it or not, to four other generations besides themselves. When we think about our money, when we think about credit, when we think about how we're going to handle our businesses if we are an entrepreneur, we should consider that every purchase that we make, we're going to maintain that purchase to a degree that we're going to care for it so intricately detailed. We're going to keep it clean. We're going to repair it if it breaks. We're going to service it if it needs servicing. If there's something that is going to run out, or if it's something that is going to need a battery or need a filter or need something that a new fresh coat of paint, if it needs anything, when we make a purchase, if it needs to be sewn or if it needs to be glued or if it needs to be whatever, we need to consider that when we make a purchase, that purchase is so important for us to walk away from with it being almost like new or even better than when we purchased it. It needs to be improved upon. It needs to be restored, repaired. It needs to be better than it was. And I know I'm saying the same things over and over again, so just bear with me because I do have a valid point here. So, the first point that I want to make is that no matter what we buy, we need to position our purchases for being able to sell them and make more money from it than what we purchased it for. And even if we don't make more money from the purchase than what we started out with. We still want to have it as in the best shape possible so that just like in our scenario of the vehicle that was passed down to me, and then I allowed my daughter to borrow, and her children were able to benefit from the vehicle that came from my grandparents to from my mom and her passing to me, to her, and my grandchildren. Everybody was able to benefit from the car. Everybody was able to benefit from the purchase from way back in the early 2000s because somebody made a right decision, because someone made a decision that they wanted to have something to be able to benefit the current household that they could pass on to another generation. And who knew that there would be 5 generations that would benefit from this one gain? So when we think about what we spend our money on, when we think about the things that we go out, when we get our paychecks, when we get that income, that, payment from our clients, if we're business owners, when we think about that cash, we need to consider that we are in control of where that money goes. Now, I know many of us, we have bills, we have credit items that we have to pay for. And most of the time, we're not in a frame of mind that we're in control of the money because what we know is that we created these debts. We've created the debts, which are things that are on our credit. We created the bills, which are our utilities, lights, water, cable, rent, all of these things that we've created. And we obligated ourselves to pay the creditors, to pay the people who we are receiving some type of service from, like a internet bill or a cell phone bill or a light bill, a water bill, a sewage bill. We have obligated ourselves to pay these things in multiple different services, in multiple debts. And so when we receive income, no matter where the income is coming from, whether good or bad, when that money hits our hands, instead of us looking at what we should do with the money so that the money will be placed in a investment that is going to bring us a greater return, most of us just look at the money that comes in our hands, whether that hand is on the phone, looking at the bank statement of the direct deposit, whether it's cash money that's in our hands, whether it's a card of some kind where the money has been loaded on the card. But we look at that money and we immediately know and understand that we are not controlling the money. We are allowing the money to be controlled by the people who we owe. So I want us to stop and think about how significant this is for us to really gauge an understanding of being in control versus not being in control of what we have. There is never, ever going to be a time where we're going to just have every single penny that we ever wanted in our life. I don't think that there's ever a time where people just suddenly receive a lump sum of money because they wish for it, because they hope for it, because they haven't taken any actual steps towards making a change so that they can have a different outcome of income. And I want us to stop and think about how this is the determining factor of deciding whether or not we want to spend the rest of our lives being the kind of person that's on the receiving end of just receiving whatever is passed on down to us. What are the crumbs that are left over after we have paid the bulk of our income to creditors and people who we owe a service to, people who we actually don't owe the service to, but that are providing us a service? You know, when do we begin to wake up and realize that when the money is in our hands, it is our choice of what we are going to do with it? Whether we will pay the bill, whether or not we will buy something that is not of value, like eating out multiple times in a week, whether we will decide that we are going to buy some clothes or some shoes that we know we don't necessarily need, whether or not we are going to go to the bar, or we're going to go to buy a bottle of wine, or we're going to go and buy some a luxury travel day, a luxury spa day, a massage, or whether or not we're going to purchase an electronic that we know we can't afford. What is it that we are doing with our money when we have that money in our hands, whether it's on our phones, it's in our bank account, it's on a card? When we have the cash, when we have the opportunity to decide in the very moment that the money is there, it's when we really need to wake up and think about, how do I want to control this money? Am I going to pay for the things that are necessities? Or am I going to pay for the things that will provide a future for the next generation of people? Even if we skip a generation and we go to a second generation or a third generation of people down our descendants' bloodline, then will there be anything left there for them? Most of us don't consider all of the people who have been before us in some way or another, whether we were related to them or not. They left something for us. There was something that was left that we are benefiting from right now to this very day. Whether it's land, whether it's housing, whether it's vehicles, whether it's clothing, whether it's jewelry, whether it's art, whether it's some commodity that is of significant value or not. Something was given to us. And what are we doing to position our minds to give to others that are coming behind us? See, the issue with being able to receive money, especially those of us who want to be 100, I'll say a six-figure earner or a seven-figure earner. Those of us who feel like we want to be a billionaire, a trillionaire, and we're waiting for a lottery ticket. We're waiting for someone to give it to us, for a child to go to college and to pursue their career because we've supported them all of their life. And we are expecting that they're going to come back and take care of us. Whether it is that we ourselves are just busting our tails every single moment of our day in the job or the business that we are a part of, that we're working in, and we're thinking that, I can do this, I can work, and as long as I put in all of my efforts, then I'm going to get a great return. And we're thinking in our minds that we're doing the right thing with our money, and we're doing the right thing with the credit that we have been given access to. But in truth, the truth of the matter is that in order for us to really excel, we have to think about more than just ourselves and more than just our children. And if we don't have children, who are our nieces and our nephews? And if we don't have nieces and nephews, who are the people that we can impact in the next generation? A generation usually is about a 20 to 40-year gap. So, what is the next generation going to receive from us? See, when we begin to think about others, it's when we begin to be blessed. We begin to be blessed in a way that's when multiple streams of income begin to flow through our lives. But most of us are so focused on ourselves and what we have or what we don't have that we can't get outside of the realm of not much less controlling money, but even more so believing that we're really going to receive a big lump sum of cash or something deposited into our account with at least 6 to 7 zeros in it. We can't get past that idea because we think that we are the ones that's in control and that it's solely left up to us. But when it comes to us understanding money, understanding credit, and understanding business, our bottom line is it's always going to be about more than just us. It's always going to be about more than just me. It's always going to be about more than just one generation because there's always and forever will be another generation that's waiting. And if we decide that we're not going to do anything for the next generation, then we can certainly just hang up on the wall somewhere this idea that we're just going to automatically be wealthy to a degree that we'll never have to worry about money again. Everyone that has wealth, everyone that has six-figure incomes, seven-figure incomes, eight-figure incomes, and higher. Yes, there are more than just an eight-figure income. It is real. However, everyone that has those high incomes, including myself, we don't think about just ourselves. Our entire world is surrounded with a thought of someone else. How will the children do with money? How will they decide and operate with the gifts, the skills, the talents that God has given them? In addition to, how will they give back themselves? What is it that they understand or that they're doing right now that will allow them in their lives to take care of themselves properly and take care of their children properly, or their nieces and nephews, or the next generation of people? What is it that they understand that I understand to get to where I am? See, my grandparents and my grandmother, who is still living to this day, understands a concept of giving. She understands a concept, a precept of giving. A precept, and the difference between a precept and a concept is a precept is the original idea from the one that created us all. A concept comes from mankind. And my grandmother understands the precept of God. She understands that God gave everything that we see on earth, God gave it to us. Everything that we have in our possession, God gave it to us. Our income, our jobs, our family members, our friendships, our relationships, spouses, and significant others, God gave it to us. And He gave it to us with the hope that we would take care of it to a degree that we would make it better, that we would improve upon the relationship, we would improve upon and make things better for the houses and the land and the material gain and the natural resources and even our animals and even our plants and trees and our grass and everything that he has put in our possession, the fish, the birds, everything, even the little insects that crawl around. We are to make things better. We are to improve and make them greater so that whoever comes behind us, not only do we live in abundance, but the people after us live in abundance. If you truly are serious about wealth, taking control over struggling every day about how to pay your bills, how to make money, why things aren't working out, why are you always running into a bind? Why is the situation that you cannot get your credit together and keep it together? Why are you running in cycles? I want you today to consider, how much do you think of anyone other than yourself? How much do you give back? How much do you consider another generation? Because when you begin to expand your mind and your money with this precept, the world is yours. Then the unlimited supply of money can flow through you and the generations behind you. But I want us to take away from this to really just kill the idea that we're going to receive a pie in the sky that's going to fall in our lap and we have to do nothing for it. Every single human being has something to contribute, whether they are young, they are middle aged, teenagers, they're old, no matter what the age. Everybody has something they can contribute. And that is why it is so important for us to understand that we all have to do our part. We cannot be individuals who are selfish and only considerate of ourselves and our own well being. That's not to say that we don't care for ourselves over other people, but it does mean that we take care of what we need to take care for ourselves, and we also consider others after we have cared for ourselves. After we have looked at the things that we need in order to stabilize our own lives, that we buy and purchase things that are going to be beneficial to us, but we also keep those things or sell those things of a greater value for something better, something better for the next generation. Not just for us to glean pleasure from, not just for us to be able to enjoy, but for others to be able to enjoy as well. Who are your successors? Who are your successors in business? Who are your successors in your personal life? Who are the people that you're going to leave? Think about everything that you have right now, everything that is in your possession, an apartment, a house, a condo, whatever it is, a vehicle, the money in the bank, the money in your investments, the things that are on your credit. Who's going to inherit the debt? Oh, so y'all didn't know that when it comes to credit, that there are some creditors that don't have optional credit life insurance to pay for the debt. So when you die, your family inherits that debt. Yes, these are the kinds of things that we need to consider when it comes to our livelihood with money, with credit, and with business. And I challenge you today to stop thinking from the perspective of, oh, I just got to get some more money. I hope that one day I'll be a millionaire. And you're not putting in any effort or putting together any strategy in order for you to get to that point. And you're only thinking about how great you're going to have the clothes that you never had, the house you never had, the land you never had, the family you never had. all the stuff. It's always the mindset of how we are going to have what we want to have. But I challenge you today to change that thought process so that you can truly accrue the wealth that God has already given you. That you would open up your eyes today and understand that when that money is in your hands, that you are the person that is in control of a next generation and not just yourself and your own life. That if you would begin to plant some seeds for yourself and for others, then I'm telling you, not only will you be blessed, but you will be blessed abundantly. That means that you will have no need. There won't be anything in your life that's missing and broken or lacking or without, because you will have unlocked the key to financial wealth. If you've enjoyed today's session, make a comment down below. Reach out to us at www.kingdombuilderscreditrepair.com if you're in need of credit repair services. And if you're interested in business, go to our other website, which is www.kbbullc.com. We would love to speak with you today. Thank you for listening. Don't forget your notification button because you never know what we're going to talk about and when we're going to talk. Until next time, take care. Be blessed.